Once upon a time, there was a mountain with a temple inside, where an old monk lived. The old monk would go down the mountain every day to fetch water, leading a peaceful life. One day, a thin monk came up the mountain, and the old monk allowed him to stay. When the water in the jar ran out, the two of them went down the mountain to fetch water. Then, another day, a fat monk arrived, and the old monk let him stay too. Soon, the water in the jar ran out again, and the old monk said, "Let's go fetch water together." However, the other two monks kept passing the responsibility to each other. The fat monk said it was the thin monk's turn, while the thin monk said it was the fat monk's turn. Just then, a mouse knocked over the oil lamp, setting the temple on fire. At first, nobody noticed the fire when it was small. But when it reached their clothes, they realized it. In panic, they all rushed down the mountain to fetch water. By the time they returned, the temple had burned down. One person shirks responsibility, two people pass it to each other, but three people will never get anything done. This is known as Washington's cooperation law in the United States. And it has led to the deduction of one person can dig a hole in 1 minute. But 60 people can't dig a hole in 1 second, known as Bonnie's Law of Labor. These stories all point to one problem, the issue of cooperation. Since cooperation involves multiple forces with different directions, collaboration can either greatly amplify progress or hinder it significantly. In today's society, individual efforts alone are not in line with the current trend. Non-cooperation is definitely not an option. Hence, Washington's cooperation law has garnered attention. However, how to cooperate and achieve what kind of cooperative results has become a problem that needs urgent resolution. Whether it's the story of the three monks, Washington's cooperation law, or Bonnie's Law of Labor, they all highlight the issue of cooperation. Since cooperation entails shared goals of improving life, nobody wants to see tragedies like those in the aforementioned stories. Yet, instances of shirking responsibility and passing the buck occur in cooperation. What could be the reason? Some attribute this to human nature's weaknesses leading to tragedies. While this perspective holds some truth, psychologists Barley and Latane's bystander effect provides a more reasonable explanation for this phenomenon. Through an experiment, Barley and Latane found that when multiple bystanders are present, individuals tend to believe it's not their responsibility or assume someone else will act, thus failing to take action themselves. Sociologists argue that the diffusion of responsibility among many individuals is the main reason for the ambiguity of responsibility, which is the primary cause of Washington's law. Now that we know the causes of Washington's law, addressing the issue at its root is crucial. When everyone knows their roles and has a common goal of striving for improvement, there will be no room for shirking responsibility. This is illustrated in the following Chinese fable. During the Warring States period, King Zuan of Qi enjoyed listening to flute music and especially liked Qi music. A man named Nanguo, usually lazy and idle, saw an opportunity upon hearing about the king's interest. He managed to meet the king and claimed to be a remarkable musician. Nanguo was indeed recruited into the flute players group. However, Nanguo couldn't play the flute at all. He was just there for a free meal. Whenever the band played for King Zuan, he imitated the other musicians, swaying and pretending to play diligently. Since there were hundreds of players, King Zuan couldn't tell who played well and who didn't. An organization or institution is like a human body. Each person should have independent tasks, knowing exactly what they should do. To eliminate comparison and avoid the occurrence of Washington's cooperation phenomenon. Moreover, when assigning tasks, they should match each person's abilities, strengths, and preferences as much as possible to fully unleash their potential. Some tasks are suitable for group completion, while others are best done independently. Besides clarifying each person's tasks, it's essential to establish clear goals for each individual. Many people don't explicitly state their requirements and rely on others' understanding, resulting in an expectation gap and failure to achieve the desired results. Furthermore, goal setting should be based on each person's different abilities, ideally capped at their maximum potential. This not only maximizes their potential but also prevents unnecessary trouble. However, achieving this requires high demands on managers.